Is frustration a clue that you're operating around the wrong surrendering mindset or the wrong objective? Is this kind of
Yeah.
the thing that gives you a pulse of, hey, we need to change something right now?
I think dissatisfaction or frustration can definitely be a signal that you are either resisting the flow, you're resisting what is seeking to happen. It's like, imagine you need to use the toilet, you need to take a shit, and you resist it. It's frustrating, bro. It doesn't work, you know. But that's how we live life. Just to make my point, right? That's how we live life. We're like spiritually, emotionally constipated, you know. And so there is a natural flow in life. There is a natural rhythm. But because of our controlling nature, which we can get into, I've been there, we block the flow. And so I think often when we feel dissatisfaction and frustration, there's a level of pain. And it symbolizes that we are resisting what is, we are resisting what is happening. We're going against the natural order of things, the natural flow of nature. We're trying to force something that isn't, trying to make something to be something that is not. And I always say, trying to make something to be something that it isn't doesn't make it so. You know, all it leads to is anxiety and frustration. And so I think it can be a sign, you know, and often when we also get to a point of dissatisfaction, I think dissatisfaction, which is a kind of form of frustration, can be a sign of growth. It's a sign too that we have outgrown our current level. We have outgrown who we are. We've outgrown what we're doing. But often we're afraid of the feeling of dissatisfaction. And so rather than like using it as a signal, we distract ourselves. We get scared. We drink it away, smoke it away, sex it away, drug it away, shop it away, social media it away, just so that we don't have to like deal with the truth or the signal or the symbol of what this frustration is telling us, because we are afraid of change. The ego, that which we mistakenly believe and perceive ourselves to be based on past experience, based on name, body, form, history, mind, personality, belief system, which is not what we really are. It's just what we identify ourselves to be. The ego is afraid of change. The ego doesn't want to change. The ego wants everybody and everyone else to change. It doesn't want to change. The ego wants our parents to change, our spouse to change, our pet chihuahua to change. The ego wants the government to change, the weather to change, but it doesn't want to change because change, surrender, for the ego feels like a death, and it's terrifying because the degree to which we believe, and we've all been conditioned from childhood, it's been reinforced by religion, education, school, society, media, to be this personality, this person, and the degree to which we identify as this version of ourselves, this is who I am, this is me, this is what I believe, is the degree to which we will often resist letting go, resist surrendering, because surrender feels like a death. Like if I question myself and I acknowledge I'm frustrated, acknowledge I'm dissatisfied, and I question and do something different, then oh shit, who will I be if I'm not this person, and I don't believe this about myself, and if I don't keep doing what I'm doing, then who will I be? So whoa. So we tend to hold on to what we were out of fear, out of safety, out of comfort, out of familiarity. So the ego is, you could say, a resistance machine. It's the ego that resists surrender. And when we understand that, it can change things. You know, the next level of our lives, there comes a point in life where the life that we've created becomes too small for what your soul is seeking to become. And I think many of us, we reach that point, we do something, we succeed even. We get reinforced, and so we keep doing it. But continuing to do it starts to feel dissatisfying, starts to feel frustrating. We're no longer growing. And so the next level of your life requires the next level of you. The next level of you requires that you let go of who you've been, what you know, requires that you let go of what is no longer a vibrational match. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's an addiction, maybe it's a way of being, maybe it's a job. But it can be scary when that's all you know, and that's how we identify ourselves as being myself, like this CEO title, this VP title, this position, this this spouse, this husband, this wife, this whatever it might be. And so what we tend to do is, from the ego, we tend to hold on to that which isn't working out of safety, out of comfort, out of familiarity, not realizing that holding on simply blocks our blessing. Holding on is what keeps us stuck and continues the frustration. So part of surrender is the willingness to let go. Part of the surrender is the willingness to let go of what is no longer aligned so that we can make space and make room for the new possibilities and the new amazing things. And so I think one of the ways that we resist, or ego resists, that we have to be really aware of are all of the ways that we lie to ourselves as human beings. Often it's unconscious. Often we don't even know that we're lying to ourselves. But in so many ways, we've been conditioned to lie to ourselves from childhood. Maybe our environment as children, it was crazy or it was painful. And because it was painful, we learned to suppress our feelings, suppress our emotions as a way to deal. No, I'm fine. Or we learned to just suppress that pain as a way to disconnect from what was going on so that we didn't feel the pain. It was a self-protective defense mechanism. So now we close our heart, we disconnect from our feelings, our body, we go into our mind, and now we don't feel anything. We're kind of we've learned to lie to ourselves. And so we also learn a strategy as children to become who we think we need to be in order to get love and validation and approval. For me, growing up, my father had 300 churches. I was a preacher's kid. So for me growing up, I thought I needed to be the nice kid, the good boy, the one who got all A's, the responsible one, always have a smile, don't feel bad, take care of everyone. It's freaking exhausting, but we become who we think we need to be to get love and validation and approval. So we end up betraying parts of ourselves in order to fit in and to get love. And so what worked for us when we were 5 kind of works for us when we're 10. The challenge is when we still are doing it when we're 20 and 25 and 35, and now it starts getting in the way of our authentic expression. It starts getting in the way of our capacity for more, our capacity to be who we truly are. And so it's exhausting. The thing is, because we've become this version of ourselves and we hold so tightly to it, we think that the version of ourselves that we've become is who we are, but it's not. It's a conditioning that we're holding on to. That is ego. And so we have to be, so we don't even realize that we're lying. We're not lying intentionally. We've just been conditioned that way to function, to survive, to get love and approval. And so I think we have to be willing to, as a first step of surrender, where do I start? We have to be willing to start telling the truth to ourselves about who we are and about what we feel. We stay in relationships that we know it's not aligned. We know. We pretend to not know, I'm not sure, I'm confused, but we know deep down. We work jobs we've outgrown or we hate. We say yes when we mean no and betray ourselves to get love and wonder, why do I feel frustration? Why do I feel pain? And so I think we have to be willing to ask the question, what lies am I telling myself? And be courageous enough to just get real. What lies am I telling myself? What am I pretending to not know? And also just take the pressure off of oneself of having to take action, but just start with the truth. To me, it's the truth that will set you free. It's the truth that will transform your life. There is no transform. You can meditate all you want. You can pray all you want. You can take as much plant medicine. You can chant. But if you don't tell the truth to yourself, nothing will change. So for me, the ego resists by denial. And so if we can just start with the truth. Wow, I hate my job. It's scary. You don't have to leave, but just start with the truth. I'm not in love anymore. I'm afraid, but I don't have to divorce. But let me just begin with the truth. I have an alcohol problem. Oof, it's hard. It may be hard for someone to admit, but just start with the truth. Because for me, truth is the real spiritual practice. And I think if we can start there, life begins shifting, surrender begins opening up, and we start to unravel things.
This is great, man.
Yeah.
This is really, really good. Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.